Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NXT, and we have some enormous breaking news as it regards tonight's show. Tonight, Tamina has challenged Nia Jax to a women's championship match, and the champion, via social media, accepted the challenge. So tonight it's Nia Jax versus Tamina. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. And well, it is time for some King of the Ring action, but clearly Laura Billings, the representative of Apollo Crews, has something she'd like to say. This is unbelievable. Well, you got to give it to her. That's one hell of an introduction. This crowd certainly not in approval, as we are about to be joined by the superior athlete Apollo Crews. We've seen him move through the King of the Ring tournament, and this is for a spot in the final of the NXT brackets of that tournament. Apollo Crews eventually will make his way out. There he is, finally. He doesn't mind taking his time. We've seen all the way through over the last few months now, Apollo Crews, this change in attitude, this more arrogant attitude, this more about me sort of attitude, all started back when he had an issue with Rich Swann. And he and Rich Swann had an absolute classic here on NXT. And then after the match, which Apollo Crews lost, mind you, he decided to attack Rich Swann. And then he went away and he enlisted the help of this really unknown sports agency. Obviously, his representative Laura Billings making his introductions now. She deals, and this company deals with all of his, what he calls little minor issues, like contracts and things like that, so he can focus on being the very best that he can be. And obviously, this crowd does not appreciate that kind of attitude. But one thing they do appreciate is the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. What a brilliant run through this tournament he has had. This, of course, as I mentioned, is for a spot in the final. The other spot in the final will also be decided tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Your main event, Hideo Itami versus Johnny Gargano. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, Nia Jax versus Tamina Snuka, who shocked the world this week. After defeating Nikki Bella and cashing in on the bounty on Nikki Bella's head, she will face the women's champion here tonight for the women's title. Does it get any better than that, ladies and gentlemen? I think not. Kazuchika Okada makes his way to do what he says is fulfill his destiny. He believes he is destined to win this King of the Ring tournament. He genuinely believes, and a lot of people around the world believe, that he is arguably one of the greatest professional wrestlers walking the face of the earth. It's hard to argue. Kazuchika Okada has been incredibly impressive since arriving here in NXT a fair while ago now. And you can see the Rainmaker soaking up the applause. What an entrance, what a performer, and what a match we have set up for you right now, ladies and gentlemen. What a way to kick off SmackDown. Welcome to it. This is the first of two semi-final matches. Kazuchika Okada going head-to-head with the elite athlete, Apollo Crews. This one's underway. Okada does not back away, but Apollo Crews immediately Irish whips him into the corner, and then they link up. Okada backs him up onto the ropes. You can feel the tension around Orlando at the moment with these huge matchups here tonight. So much on the line. Massive opportunity awaits, and look out. Apollo Crews with strikes here. Now look out. Tosses Okada to the apron and then knocks him off. And we've seen Apollo Crews take this route several times already. Apollo Crews taking it to Kazuchika Okada. You can see this change in attitude, this change in style, and then look out. No. Oh, God, off the ring post goes Okada, and this is what I'm talking about. It used to always be solely in the ring. Let's have a fair contest. But now, with Apollo Crews, it appears to be getting down and dirty and doing whatever it takes to get that W. You can see Okada wants to take it back in the ring. And can you blame him? But Apollo Crews, no wasted motion, sends him up and misses the drop kick. And Okada manages to hang on, but Apollo Crews yet again. And then a huge right hand, knocking him down again, and Apollo Crews gets outside the ring again, and Okada with a back elbow and then a drop kick right to the knee, takes him off his feet, and now perhaps a little bit of aggression from Okada. Somewhat of a receipt for how he was treated in the early going of this match, and Okada giving it back in spades here. Shot to the midsection and a right hand, and a shot to the midsection again, and this crowd right behind Okada in this one. Okada's absolutely lighting him up, but Crews going to fight back in the ring now. All of a sudden, Crews wants to get it back in the ring when the tables are turned. Turns him around. Can he get him here? No, Crews. Too much power. Reverses a reversal, then a chop, then a forearm. This new style of Apollo Crews has been effective. He's been on quite the win streak. And now, looking to extend that here, taking Kazuchika Okada High Rent District. And he's in big trouble. Second rope arm drag. Down into the cover. Is that enough here? One. May have him two. And it's a long 2 count for early in the match. And Apollo Crews is doing the damage now. Needs to stay on Okada. And you see Crews. Again. Not surely. Not again to the outside. And Apollo Crews is absolutely taking it to Kazuchika Okada here. Shot. What a right hand that was. But now Okada. He's had enough of this. And then off the stairs goes Apollo Crews, and Okada may have snapped a little bit here. Continuously thrown and tossed to the outside. And if you want to get down and dirty, Kazuchika Okada's more than willing to oblige. It's not really what we've seen from most of this tournament. Most of this tournament's been all about the athletic contest, but here, this is just degenerating into a bit of a brawl here as Apollo Crews takes it to Kazuchika Okada, and maybe looking for the count out here. It's a count of 7, but Apollo Crews is going to head to the outside of the ring and break the count. And this is the change in attitude. Apollo Crews wants to punish. That's exactly what he's doing here. Leaps over the top of Okada and now just hammering away on the back. And look at this, the arrogance of Apollo Crews. This crowd certainly not complying with that kind of attitude. As Crews now sends Okada back into the ring, count of 5. And Apollo is going to get right back in the ring, and this match has taken a turn for the worse for Kazuchika Okada, and it may just take an even worse turn here. Got him up, gorilla press. Signature move of Apollo Crews. Down into the cover. Is that enough to put Okada away? 2 and 3. Oh my God, how long was that? 2 counts. And Crews' frustration is just starting to build. He's taken it outside the ring. He's taken it inside the ring. And now we see calf kick there from Kazuchika Okada. Nice move. Took Apollo Crews right out of his game there. And Okada's going to need to do something, and quick. And he's going to try and hyperextend the knee. And that's exactly what he does. Okada down into the cover. Sense of desperation here. 1, 2. Got a 2 count. But you can already see the exhaustion creeping into Okada. Trying to find the answers against the elite athlete, Apollo Crews. Okada again, though, sends him into the corner. And now, a bit of a receipt from before. Kazuchika Okada loads up Apollo Crews here onto the top rope. Both legs over. This does not bode well. This is not where you want to be this late in the match. And up and down with a superplex goes Apollo Crews, and down into the cover. That could be enough. His insides are being rocked, and just a 2 count. Just a 2 count. Apollo Crews is still in it. Both men just clasping to the last hopes of their King of the Ring tournament here. You can see, look out, Okada hooked him up. What is this? Oh my God! Down onto the neck! Down onto the neck! And I've never seen anything like that! And now Okada follows it up! Follows it up immediately! Incredible offense from Okada! The drop kick, no! Apollo Crews reverse the drop kick. Look out. Hooks him up. Spin out powerbomb. Spin out powerbomb. Into the cover 1. Got him 2. And Apollo Crews. No, he doesn't advance. Oh my God. This place is on its feet. How close was that? Okada kicks out at 2.9. And now still searching for the answers here. What can he do? Okada getting desperate. And now look out. God, he sends him to the outside again. Send him to the outside again. And Apollo Crews continues to hammer away. But he's showing some absolutely incredible fight here. But Apollo Crews, perhaps even more. Snap suplex on the floor. All this action on the outside has to be taking its toll on both men, but more so Okada. Apollo Crews knows he can't lose the match out here unless he gets counted out. But if you're on offense, you're no chance of getting counted out. And it seems as though he might be gunning for a count out. He might not feel that he can put Okada away any other way. Is it a count of 6? And it's now a count of 7. And I think Okada might be in trouble, but he's stirring. It's a count of 8. And you can see Apollo Crews thinks he's got it done. But here comes Okada. He will not give it away that easily. Okada now sends him into the corner. But Apollo Crews again with the answer. And Okada with a snapmare. Down. And then takes a headlock. Desperate time. So much on the line. A spot in the final next week. The main event. Who will move on? Okada or Crews? Okada just fighting out. Both men have torn each other to shreds here. And now Apollo Crews sends him into the corner. You can see the exhaustion on Apollo Crews. Can barely get near him. What is this? Apollo Crews hooks him up for a power bomb. Not into the turnbuckle. A buckle bomb from Apollo Crews. The ruthlessness of Apollo Crews shining through here. And I don't think Okada's got much left. He's getting stalked here by Apollo Crews. Hooks him up and down with a second spin out powerbomb. A second spin out powerbomb. 1, 2, and 3. And Apollo Crews, incredibly impressive tonight. Love him or hate him. That is one hell of a performance. He didn't even let Okada get into the contest. Avoided the Rainmaker clothesline and the patented dropkick. I thought this was it. I thought it was over right there. But Okada stayed alive. But all the action on the outside of the ring, you have to feel, took its toll on Okada. But Apollo Crews receives the questions, delivers the answers. And Apollo Crews is through to the final of the NXT brackets of the King of the Ring. Incredible display. Like him or loathe him, it'll be Apollo Crews facing either Itami or Gargano next week. Well, there you see the brackets, ladies and gentlemen. It is official. Apollo Crews moves on through the tournament to the final. And tonight's main event, as I mentioned, Itami versus Gargano. Stay tuned for that one. Set for some women's action here, ladies and gentlemen. Alicia Fox has made her way out to the ring to a pretty raucous reception, to be fair. Fairly popular member of the women's roster. We haven't seen a hell of a lot from Alicia Fox, but in light of everything that's going on, she's decided she wants to throw her hat in the ring now as well and get involved in this incredibly combustible women's division that we have here tonight. And, well, maybe at the forefront of all of it has been Alexa Bliss lately, who we saw got rather heated after a match with Sasha Banks after she wasn't assisted by the members of Team Bella. And Alexa Bliss was walked backstage to try and calm her down by Brie Bella, and subsequently leaving Nikki Bella to her own devices against a raging Tamina Snuka. And Tamina Snuka managed to pull off one of the upsets of the year and defeated Nikki Bella, while Naomi watched on from ringside. So Alexa Bliss is set for some action here, looking to try and get that win back that she lost. And we are underway with this women's contest. Speaking of women's contests, of course, later tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as I mentioned at the top of the show, Tamina Snuka gets her shot at shocking the world yet again when she takes on Nia Jax for that women's title. Just a little bit. See there's a drop kick there from Alicia Fox, and she's come to fight. There's no question about that. Shot right to the back of the head, and a spin kick there from Alexa Bliss as Alicia Fox shows her power, backing up Alexa Bliss, and there's seems to be a fair bit between these two women, and that's how competitive the women's division has been lately, ladies and gentlemen. It's just been combustible, to say the very least, with all these bounties on people's heads and getting shots at titles, and it's been all happening as you see Alexa Bliss here. She has displayed this before. Her technical proficiency is really impressive inside that ring. See her take the arm here of Alicia Fox, but smooth as you like, she ends up with the headlock. Alexa Bliss fighting from underneath somewhat here at the moment as she backs up Alicia Fox. Into that, another drop kick there from Alicia Fox. And that has been her MO lately. Use those long legs to your advantage, but again, finds herself in a disadvantageous position. She fires her off the ropes, goes for the hip toss, reversed by Alexa Bliss, and a nice exchange there. Alicia Fox struggling to cope with the pace at the moment of Alexa Bliss, but this has been somewhat even, I guess you could say. Trading headlocks at the moment, and there's a hip toss of her own, so a little bit of one-upsmanship going there, but another reversal here from Alexa Bliss. Absolutely perfectly executed counter wrestling here from both women. Shot to the back, and then this ain't catch as catch can wrestling. There's a side Russian leg sweep. Hang on a second. Well, you knew the cavalry would arrive eventually. Team Bella has arrived here, and this does not bode well for Alicia Fox. And perhaps this is somewhat of a repayment. And obviously everything's all right. As you can see here, Alexa in big trouble. Massive powerbomb, and Eva Marie has come down to cheer on Alexa Bliss here. You can see the Bellas having a little bit of a chat there at ringside, waving to the crowd. You can see now Alicia Fox taking it right to Alexa Bliss, and Alexa Bliss got her down onto the apron, going to the outside of the ring to get some more of it. Oh my God! What the hell was that? Eva Marie just dropped Alexa Bliss while Alicia Fox watches on. And what the hell is this all about? Eva Marie now just sends her into the barricade. What the hell is the meaning of all this? This crowd is stunned. Eva Marie sending Alexa Bliss back into the ring. Elbow to the face, and here comes Alicia Fox. This match has been called off. You heard the referee ring the bell. Northern Lights suplex lays out Alexa Bliss. What the hell is this all about? Eva Marie now in the ring. Now Alicia Fox. What the hell? A double team on Alexa Bliss. Costa, what do you mean? Nikki Bella lost that match fair and square. The newest member of the family, surely not. Oh my God. And Alicia Fox joins Team Bella. These women are just snakes. Absolute snakes. Respect. Where's your respect? That's disgusting. Lost that match fair and square. Ladies and gentlemen, the next time we meet for NXT TakeOver is Resurgence. It is an unmissable event, the main event. Finn Balor versus Roderick Strong in a submission match for the NXT title. Well, what a night this has been, ladies and gentlemen, here in Full Sail University. I'm still in shock for what we just saw. Alexa Bliss just tossed out of Team Bella and replaced. And I guess that shows you what kind of people we're dealing with. But I'll tell you what we're dealing with here. The greatest of all time. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair. And he is styling and profiling here tonight. Of course, he is the mentor, the manager of his proteges, the Glorious Heels, Bobby Roode and Austin Aries, the tag team champions. They, of course, recently won those titles. This is surreal. I've got to say, it's absolutely surreal to be in the presence here on NXT of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. He is literally the best to ever lace up a pair of boots. And this crowd on their feet for the Nature Boy. Surreal. It's the best. What's Rick got to say here? High praise from the Nature Boy. Well, yeah, let's not go too far. Well, he's given the boys the night off. I don't know if he can do that, but I guess he's Ric Flair. He can do anything he wants. Well, hang on a minute here. Well, it's the one and only Kurt Angle. Of course, we saw the absolute bombshell that was dropped. Kurt Angle joining forces with Chad Gable and Jason Jordan of American Alpha. And it seems to have created a Team Angle 2.0. And again, this just keeps getting more and more surreal, ladies and gentlemen. Kurt Angle saying his boys American Alpha want a shot. And Ric Flair saying he doesn't make the decisions around here. And that's Daniel Bryan's deal. And Ric Flair, well, he seems a little coy to me. I don't know that Ric Flair is that confident that his boys can knock off American Alpha. And Ric Flair makes his way to the backstage area, and Kurt Angle is left to wonder where his guys are heading next. But I think I know where we're heading next, and it looks as though we're going to be joined by Scott Hall, who we saw as well, and this is even more surreal, appeared to have joined forces with Gallows and Anderson. This is incredible. There's a lot of respect being thrown around. I don't doubt any of that. Wow. Scott Hall issuing a challenge to American Alpha. Gallows and Anderson versus American Alpha. The winner goes to Resurgence to face the tag team champions, and Kurt Angle accepts. Oh my God, and it's next week. #1 contenders match. Oh my. The battle lines have been drawn. Gallows and Anderson versus American Alpha. Next week, the winner gets a shot at Resurgence. Well, it is now time, ladies and gentlemen, for the biggest match in, well, without question, the biggest match in this woman's career. Tamina Snuka looks to shock the world all over again, much like she did when she defeated Nikki Bella. Clean as a sheet, 1, 2, 3, in the middle of the ring. Cashed in on the bounty on Nikki Bella's head that Nia Jax placed there. Much like what Nikki Bella did to Sasha Banks. Tamina Snuka comes from a long line of professional wrestlers. It is in her blood. Her father, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, one of the biggest stars in the company's history. She comes here to try and replicate some of her father's feats. And this has just got combustible written all over it. Not many times can you say that Nia Jax may meet her match physically. This is an enormous opportunity, and this is what the women's division is all about, is opportunity. Getting the chance to wrestle. Getting the chance to get your hands on that women's title. Despite what Nikki and Brie and the rest of those cronies who we saw kick Alexa Bliss out. Listen to this place come unglued for the women's champion, Nia Jax. As I was saying, we saw Alexa Bliss get kicked out of Team Bella and just replaced like she's nothing by Alicia Fox. And now we get the presence of the dominant women's champion, Nia Jax, who was willing to take this challenge on because unlike Nikki Bella, she is a fighting champion and she follows through. Even when it doesn't particularly suit her, Nia Jax follows through, takes a challenge on a whim, because that is the stipulation she put in place. And we are set, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it's for. It's for all the marbles. The women's title is on the line. Tamina Snuka versus Nia Jax. And usually, Tamina would have the size advantage, but you can see as they size up here already, Nia Jax are just taking Tamina straight outside the ring. And that's the champion for you. Takes absolutely no prisoners, and this could just, well, take you out of your game there. And she smashes her off the barricade here, and look at this already from Nia Jax. Taking it right to Tamina in the early going. And this place is in a little bit of shock here. Tamina on the back foot here early. Oh, slaps her head off the concrete floor. And now just hammering away on Tamina Snuka. Count of 5. Nia Jax gets in the ring and just invites her back in. Says, let's go. Let's do this. And Tamina, not one to back down, heads straight back in the ring. Now Nia Jax, no wasted motion though. Sends her in and there's a clothesline. And Nia Jax absolutely dominating the early goings of this match. Such an impressive champion, Nia Jax. And oh my God, absolutely ruthless at that. She said, if you want to challenge me, you have to step up. And Tamina Snuka is really being taken to here. She needs to find a way to get back in, and that might be just it. That might be the way to get right back in this match, and she's got to start to try and build back that momentum. Takes the snapmare again, and then just locks the headlock in straight away. So that's the power of Tamina Snuka that Nia Jax wouldn't be used to dealing with. So many times we've seen Nia Jax absolutely tower over opponents, and while she's bigger than Tamina, she's not that much bigger. So this is a really good matchup stylistically. Look out, belly to belly suplex. My God, power personified from Nia Jax. And then taking it to that knee, that knee braced up knee. Then hooks that very leg. 1, does she have her? 2, doesn't get her. 2 count in the early going. Nia Jax trying to put away Tamina Snuka early here. And just taking the elbows to the crown of the head. Tamina Snuka looking to make this her night here tonight, much like Nia Jax did exactly a week ago. She became the women's champion. And look at her just stretching Tamina Snuka. And I think Nia Jax showed, more than anything, that it is possible to do this. Because it's exactly what she did 1 week ago. Deja vu all over again here. This time Nia Jax is in the opposing corner. It's the one she was before. And you can see Tamina there with the power. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. The explosive power from Tamina Snuka. And now giving back some receipts. Smashing Nia Jax's head into the canvas. Now Tamina. Oh, hyperextending the elbow. Brilliant move there. And the daughter of Jimmy Superfly Snuka. And then smashing her head off the canvas. And Tamina's right back in this. And you can hear the groundswell of support from the crowd. Definitely behind Tamina a little bit here. So see Nia Jax though. Sends her in to the corner. And then smashes the lower back. But Tamina fights back. And have a look at this. Tamina Snuka really genuinely standing up to Nia Jax. And just deadlifts her over. Drops the elbow. And it might be just dawning on Nia Jax and this entire crowd that this ain't over. You see Nia Jax though, look at the power, just tosses her to the outside. My God. Into the cover, 1. Has she done enough? I think she has, no. Tamina Snuka is sticking around, and how plucky of a performance has this been from Tamina, as again, just grapevines the neck and hammers Tamina Snuka's head. And God, just a straight kick. Absolutely ruthless, and there's nothing more ruthless than the splash. Straight into the cover. That'll do it. 1. No air left in the lungs, and she kicks out. Tamina Snuka showing some real fight, and then a snapmare. She will not go away. She will not throw in this opportunity. It could be the last one you get. You never know what's going to happen in a professional wrestling career. Your career could end tomorrow, so you have to wrestle like it is going to. And that's exactly what Tamina Snuka is doing here. She needs this. Just hammering away here. Look at those shoulders. Look at how splayed out those shoulders were. Nia Jax had to fight out. Look out, sends her in off the ropes. Doesn't look good. Hooks her up and down with a back suplex. You could feel it. You could feel the impact. And now going after those knees again. Those knee brace knees. And look at that, just hyperextending that like a figure 4-esque type maneuver. We heard from Ric Flair, of course, tonight. And a massive tag team match made for next week. Anderson and Gallows versus American Alpha. The winner will go on to face the Glorious Heels at Resurgence. You can look out here. Look out! Oh my God! A bear hug power slam down into the cover, and that'll do it. 1, 2, and 3. No! Oh my God! How the hell did Tamina Snuka kick out of that? The impact of that move, I felt it reverberate through the ground. And now just no remorse here from Nia Jax, who seems in a little bit of disbelief here. As Tamina Snuka, now she grabs Nia Jax. Oh my God! Good Lord! Tamina with a spinning leg drop. And she all of a sudden has found a second win and uses that knee brace to her advantage, dropping it right across the bridge of the nose of Nia Jax. And now look out, Tamina hooks her up, backbreaker to Nia Jax. Incredible resiliency here from Tamina Snuka, and Nia Jax is being taken to her limit. Snuka now gets her to her feet, and she could be in some trouble here. Sends her into the corner, but you can see what this match has done to Tamina. She is struggling, and a wonderful reversal into a splash. My God, Nia Jax reverses it into a splash. No air left in the lungs yet again, too. And no, she will not give it up. The plucky Tamina will not give this away lightly. And look at this again. Just more elbows to the head. Nia Jax can't be put away. Tamina won't go away. Nia now gets her to her feet. Incredible match this has been. Up and down with an explosive Samoan drop on Tamina Snuka. She hasn't moved. She hasn't moved into the cover. 1, 2, and she still manages to kick out. Tamina Snuka will not be denied. Nia Jax doesn't know what to do, can't find the answer, but now Tamina just won't go away. Slams her head off the canvas, and now Tamina is going to go to the top here. Tamina Snuka, is she going to look for it? She is. She nails the splash. Nails the splash to put away Nikki Bella. 2, got her through. Oh my God. Nia Jax barely stays alive. This place has just come alive. Neither woman with anything left. Tamina Snuka was inches away from taking her opportunity and shocking the world 2 times in a week. But here comes Nia Jax fighting out. Nia Jax fights out and gets a snapmare of her own. This crowd almost is fully behind Tamina now. That was so close off the splash. Absolutely incredible. What a match this has been. And Tamina isn't done either. Shot right to the solar plexus. Tamina Snuka now sends Nia Jax into the corner. She's got some sinister thoughts, but you can see how exhausted she is. She can barely get there. Look at the extension up under the chin. Wonderful. And now, oh, she shrugged her off. The power of Nia Jax will not be denied. And then a slap right to the face. Just a straight slap. But Tamina ain't going anywhere. Still fighting. But Nia Jax has all the answers here and runs at her. God, a bulldog. Ruthlessness from the champion. Absolute ruthlessness. Flops into the cover. 1. Has she done enough? She hasn't. Tamina Snuka's still there. What an incredible encounter. Missed the kick. Missed the kick. Chance for Tamina. Takes the headlock. What has she got? What has she got? And how the hell did she manage that? Tosses her over. But Nia Jax just won't be denied. Tamina looking for it. Nia Jax hooked her up. Oh my God! Slams her down. Nia Jax 2. And Nia Jax retains the Women's Championship. But what an effort from Tamina Snuka. Oh my God. The sheer power of Nia Jax cannot be denied. But what a match. That is the performance of Tamina's career. There is no question about that. And Nia Jax is still your women's champion. That's what happens when you're a fighting champion and you don't need the help of others. That's why she's holding that gold. Tamina puts up an incredible battle, but the champion reigns supreme. What a match. What an incredible match that was. This place still coming down. Well, if you want to get your spirits down, just inject Roderick Strong into the mix, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Roderick Strong wearing an incredibly dangerous and disrespectful shirt. We saw over the last couple of weeks, Roderick Strong called out Finn Balor. He announced that it's going to be a submission match at Resurgence for that NXT title. And look at Roderick Strong getting into this crowd. But he said, more importantly, last week, that he wants to meet the Demon. He wants the paint. He wants to prove that Finn Balor, with or without the paint, is a joke. He says it's smoke and mirrors. He says that he doesn't believe in ghosts. And he doesn't believe in monsters either. And Roderick Strong is undoubtedly out here to cause a little bit of chaos, as always. How disrespectful can one guy get? Playing with fire, my friend. Uh-oh. Oh, no. What the hell was that? Oh, my God. Keeps coming on and off, like... Oh, my God. What the hell is happening? Look at the... Did you see the ring? Oh, my God. What the hell was that? Roderick Strong pacing around the ring. I have no idea what we just saw, ladies and gentlemen. I think Roddy Strong's gone too far. He's gone too far. He's playing with fire. You're talking about summoning something that people usually run from. And I think Roderick Strong is finding out why. That was eerie. Did you see the ring? I don't know. I'm stunned. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our main event. Johnny Gargano versus Hideo Itami. It's up next. Let's head to the ring. Incredibly combustible evening, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a roller coaster ride, and I have no idea what the hell we just saw. But I think Roderick Strong may have just bitten off a little bit more than he can chew, but we have to switch gears. This is our enormous main event. The winner of this match goes on to next week's main event to face Apollo Crews in the final, and the winner of that match then heads to the pay-per-view extravaganza, King of the Ring, for the triple threat match that will determine who is the best wrestler on the face of the earth. Johnny Gargano certainly believes he is. They call him Johnny Wrestling. He's going to need to draw on every single ounce of experience that he has in order to get a win over Hideo Itami, who has been on an absolute tear. Hideo Itami, arguably one of the most dangerous strikers in the industry. And Johnny Gargano has a million tricks up his sleeve, so this one is a really nice blending of styles. Gargano, nobody expected him to be here. He actually suspended in a roundabout way Eric Young last week, who had it hanging over his head that if he was to lose at any stage during the tournament, he was to be suspended for 30 days after his attack on Christopher Gerard, which actually led to Gerard having to withdraw from the tournament for medical reasons. And now it's led to Johnny Wrestling getting rid of Eric Young and now looking to stop the freight train that is this man, Hideo Itami, the new Japanese buzzsaw. Incredibly dangerous man. He looks calm. He looks composed. He's going to need to draw on all of his experience as well. He's wrestled all over the world. Hideo Itami, the master of the GTS. What an atmosphere here. A real big fight feel around Full Sail University as the King of the Ring begins its crescendo here tonight. Of course, all week next week on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, we will have all of the finals. And then, of course, at King of the Ring, the massive triple threat match to determine who will be the king. And we are underway. Johnny Gargano versus Hideo Itami. Immediately whips him off the ropes and then a clothesline. And Hideo Itami immediately just taking the strikes to Johnny Gargano. Went for the slap. Gargano, look out. And oh my God! Sat down, extended the leg. and jack the jaw of Hideo Itami, and that's what I'm talking about. The amount of tricks that Johnny Gargano has in his locker is absolutely incredible. Oh my God. German suplex already, and that's taken Hideo Itami right out of his game. And there's no wrestling here. This has just been straight up brawling. Face first goes Hideo Itami, and this one's off to an absolute flyer. Gargano certainly not backing away from Hideo. See Hideo now, hooks him up, snap suplex of his own. Wow, what a start to this match, and just a double foot stomp from Hideo. Now gets him up, and Hideo Itami flips him around. You feel like this one might not go for very long if it keeps up at this pace. These two beating the absolute hell out of each other. Now grapevines, the head and the elbows. We saw that from Nia Jax in the last match. And what a match that was. Nia Jax retaining over Tamina Snuka. See now, Hideo is going to start to work a limb, and this is where he's at his most dangerous, when he can pick you apart limb from limb. Shot to the back there, but it was countered. To the stomach by Johnny Gargano, who hooks him up, and what's this? Steps over, oh my God! And Johnny Gargano has this place on their feet. Talking some trash to Hideo Itami, saying, I ain't going, oh my God! And then a slap to the face. And this young upstart, Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, is taking it right to Hideo, who actually has to bail out of the ring. Look at the welts. And now Hideo takes the back, hooks the arms, but Johnny Gargano fighting out here. Oh, and a back elbow. Back elbow from Gargano. And now Hideo hooks him up. Double underhooks up, and oh, look at the counter again from Johnny Gargano. And this is exactly what I was talking about. He has a million counters, a million tricks. And for a guy like Gargano, against just a straight-up striker like Itami, if you can find ways around to avoid the strikes, you can get in this position and a long 2 count. And Johnny Gargano could be on the verge of one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. We've already seen Tyler Breeze go through over Ryan Lusk. That would be my tip for the upset of the tournament. But this might just do it if Johnny Gargano can keep wrestling this type of match. He has been perfect so far. See there's a forearm. He can even match him for strikes. But Hideo doesn't take that. Hideo not taking that. And up and down with a sit-out powerbomb from Hideo Itami. That'll stop any momentum you thought you had. Hideo rolls him over, and look at that. Just a straight right hand, an overhand right, I would say. Gargano has been rocked by that shot. You can tell already. Gargano struggling to try and get to his feet. And Hideo just keeps knocking him down. But Johnny eventually does get to his feet. But only for a moment here as Hideo with another clothesline. The strikes of Hideo Itami coming to the forefront here. And Hideo Itami setting up for vintage Hideo. Clinical Hideo Itami. And you can tell he's starting to settle into this contest a little bit. And a snapmare. And now he's starting to slow the pace. Because when the pace was quickened, it really favoured Johnny Gargano with his quick thinking and his counters. And speaking of counters, here comes Gargano again. He's seriously impressed me here. Sends Hideo into the corner. Johnny Wrestling. And now what's he thinking here? Oh no, we've seen this before. We've seen it before, the lawn dart. Into the second turnbuckle. Johnny Gargano set him head first, 1, got him 2, doesn't get him. Hideo kicks out. But that's how quickly it can happen. The lawn dart into the turnbuckle, one of the most dangerous moves I've ever seen. But now Hideo sends him into the same corner. And then Hideo, Irish whip, look out. Oh my God, the knees. Those vicious strikes from Hideo Itami. Hideo gets him to a knee. And now what's he thinking? This crowd behind Hideo Itami now. I think they're fairly well split, 50-50. As Hideo drops him with a kick. And I think I know what's coming here. The drop kick in the corner from Hideo. Nails Johnny Gargano on the button. Down into the cover, and that'll do it. 1 and 2. Can he get him? No, he doesn't. Johnny Gargano still alive. Not one person in Full Sail sitting here, up and over. Snaps the neck back. Incredible. Incredible match so far. Hideo hooks him up. What's he thinking? Takes him over. Takes him over to the ropes. Hideo now. He's got sinister thoughts. I can see Hideo Itami's mind ticking over here. And now this does not look good. This is what the King of the Ring's all about. By any means necessary, you have to get this win over your opponent. Hideo with an enormous apron DDT and then a kick to the temple. And I think that's gotta do it for Johnny Wrestling. Hideo back in the ring. Rolls him over. He has barely moved here, but now getting back to his feet. And Hideo has to go to plan B. And that's what I'm talking about, the counter. The counter wrestling from Johnny Wrestling. But it might not work as Hideo is going to take him to the high red district. This is bottom of the ninth kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Hideo going to go high risk on Johnny Gargano here. Lifts up Gargano. Top rope, up and down. Oh my God! A top rope Falcon Arrow. And Hideo geeing up the crowd here. My God, these two have torn each other apart in a very short amount of time. Neither man with anything left, and look at the kicks. This place is just unglued at the moment. Johnny to his feet, taken off his feet, and Hideo Itami takes him down. But Johnny Wrestling just fighting back. He has the heart of a lion, Johnny Gargano. There is no questioning that. But look out, Hideo with a counter of his own. Hideo with a counter of his own into the cover one. Got him? No, he got the rope. Very smart ring presence from Johnny Gargano, met with applause from Full Sail University. Gargano trying to hang on. Hideo trying to put him away. Oh my God. That kick, but Johnny Gargano completely and utterly stood up to it. Johnny Gargano, oh my God! Face first goes Hideo Itami. Face first goes Hideo Itami into the cover one. Does he have him two? No, he doesn't get him. My God. Johnny Gargano showing heart that perhaps not even we knew he had. Hideo with a Hurricane Rana. Pulling out all the stops. Now Hideo is actually going to go to the top rope. That's what this match has come to. Hideo all the way to the top. Oh my God, knees right to the gut. Knees right to the gut. This place is on its feet. Full Sail right behind him. Who's going to come up trumps? Here, there's a drop kick to the temple. And Johnny Wrestling is in enormous trouble. Hideo sends him into the corner. Look at the exhaustion. He can barely walk over there. And Hideo, oh my God, what a chop. What a chop to Gargano into the cover. I'd be out. Two, doesn't get him. Gargano still alive. That was an enormous chop, and then a shot. The patented kick to the spine from Hideo Itami, and he just continues to hammer away on Johnny Gargano, who just continues to refuse to go away. It's all on the line. This is what it means. This is what professional wrestling is all about. Hideo had some sinister thoughts, had second thoughts now. Hideo trying to catch his breath, but Johnny Wrestling rolled him up! Nailed the kick! Nailed the roll-through kick! This is what put Eric Young away! Get the cover, Johnny! Cover yourself in glory! Got him two! Got him three! Oh my God! Hideo Itami kicks out at 2.9! Johnny Wrestling was inches away from the final of the King of the Ring! Unbelievable! Absolutely unbelievable. And Hideo lines him up with another kick. My God, right to the spine. Knocks the air out of lungs too. Got him. Oh my God. Johnny Gargano kicks out. Incredible pulsating battle. Gargano and Itami going hammer and song shot face first. Itami's busted wide open. And Gargano showing a little bit of ruthlessness now. The busted open Itami. Gargano trying to put him away. Itami can barely get to his feet. Shot to the back. Welts all over his body. But Itami hooked him up. Itami hooked him up out of nowhere. GTS! GTS! GTS to Gargano. Itami drags the lifeless body to the middle of the ring. 1, 2, and 3. And Hideo Itami wins the match of the tournament without question and moves on to the final to take on Apollo Crews. My God, what a battle. That was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Hideo Itami pulls the trump card, nails the GTS, and puts to sleep any hope that Johnny Gargano had of showering himself in glory. That's the match of the tournament, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake. Hideo Itami bears the scars of battle, but he holds the prize of victory. Hideo Itami heads through to the final against Apollo Crews. Thank you so much for joining me.